It's now time to talk about displays. Apple has the best displays in the industry, bar none. Our competitors buy the panels we reject. It's true. And so for viewing angle, color purity, they are the best in every respect. This is the hottest display in the industry. And today, we're going to announce a completely new version.
When the Studio Display came out in the spring of 2022, it gained quite a lot of attention, as you might recall, possibly even more than the Mac Studio that came out alongside it. Whilst the Mac Studio stunned us with its small footprint and insane amounts of power, the Studio Display marked Apple's return to the display market. Well, for most of us at least. Yeah, sure, since 2019, they've had the Pro Display XDR available. You'll need a hefty $5,000 for that, making an Apple display out of reach for most of us. In my case, my Studio Display just makes my day easier. I added a lot of Apple gear to my lineup last year, and it's odd. I use the display almost more than any other device, but it's so good at what it does. I end up almost looking through it and forgetting it's there. It just does its job that well. Last year saw me make a big change in my workflow. I moved away from iMacs and desktops to a laptop as my primary workstation. I thought it over and over, and it turned out to be one of the best things I could have done. Being able to have all relevant and recent projects locally and be truly mobile sped up my workflow so much. No more waiting for cloud syncs to update or saving to external drives, and then of course forgetting to bring those drives with me. Now, wherever I want to work, be it from the podcast studio at home or here in the studio space, I'm good to go. The kind of work I do makes a large display not a luxury, but a must. It makes it an essential, to be honest. Moving to the 16-inch MacBook Pro was all well and good, but I just knew as good as this gorgeous liquid retina display is, it was still only ever going to be 16 inches, which just wouldn't cut it. My eyes are tired enough at the end of the day already without struggling to work on a smaller display, no matter how good that display is. Nope, I was going to need size. I'd been used to my 27-inch iMac for so long, over 5 years actually, that I'd become accustomed to it, almost spoiled by it even. So I plumped for the Studio Display to be my MacBook's daily partner. Whenever I write or make videos about this display, I always get questions asking if I've had any niggles, like whining or buzzing. Honestly, as hard as this screen works, touch wood, I've had no problems with it whatsoever. It's performed without problem from day one. I don't really notice the lack of Pro Motion when I'm working on it side by side with the MacBook Pro. I've got a theory about that. It seems to be to do with screen size. The smaller the screen, the more condensed the display gets, the more exaggerated Pro Motion becomes. If I look at a phone now, for example, that isn't Pro Motion, it's more noticeable to me almost immediately. But the larger the screen gets, the less notable Pro Motion becomes. Is that just me? Or you notice that too? I don't know, maybe I'm strange. The Studio Display is bright, punchy, quiet and vivid. It's color accurate enough for my workflows, whether that's design or video editing. Hi there guys, I just wanted to check in and say thank you. You've been really kind to me over this last week. We gained almost 100 subs, which means we are so close to that first 1,000 subs, and I think you know what that means to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you from me and from Alice. If we get to 1,000 subs, it means that we can eat again. And we're both getting hungry, so thank you ever so much indeed. So whatever you're doing, just keep doing the same stuff, liking, sharing, and making sure that you're letting everyone know about these videos. I've got plenty more great ideas in mind, and there's more than videos, of course. You can go to my website, talkingtechandaudio.com. There you'll find details of how you can join the members mailing list, and it's free, and I send out a video every weekend just chit-chatting about what's going on in the background behind the channel. You should take a look at the channel as well. I've created a load of different playlists there for videos you may not yet have seen. And if reading's your kind of thing, then you can find me on Medium as well. I write 5 days a week, all stuff to do with tech, Apple audio, it's all there. And in case you missed it, I was asked onto the MacRumors podcast with Hartley and Dan last week. Give it a listen or a watch and let me know what you think. And every fortnight, Alex and I sit down together with a guest to record our Minus 16 podcast. And the next one of those will be up this week. The built-in camera has been improved in recent updates, although I've never really used it. I do so much online. A good camera has always been really important to me. The cameras I've used with this display have changed over time. When I first bought the display, I opted for this Logitech 4K camera. That got swapped when Apple brought out the continuity camera feature, which I use with my 14 Pro. But now I've finally grown up and joined the big boys league and bought my very first DSLR camera, so now I use my Canon 90D with a display. The only bugbear I have is this damn cable. Why, oh why engineers at Apple decided to make it non-removable is beyond me. I don't move the display from my home podcast studio that often, but when I do, it is such a ball ache. I don't have much space behind my custom-made desk in there, and I can barely get the plug out. Look, I know it's first world problems, I know that, but if the cable could be pulled out like it can be on this iMac, problem solved, there would be no problem. So I love my studio display, but I'm always keen to learn what could be coming downstream, what's next. With Apple now back in the display arena, there's stories that we could be seeing a new display being added to their lineup. Yep, that's right. And these rumors are coming from the very reputable Ross Young. He's been busy tweeting recently that we're going to see a third Apple display this year. That's right, this new display won't replace the current display that I've got, but rather be in addition to it. And even more exciting is the news that it promises to be feature-packed. The display, which Young's anticipating should still be with us this year, it will slot somewhere in between the $1,600 panel I've got here and the top-end $5,000 Pro Display XDR panel. Exact details remain scant, but it would appear that the latest display will be more similar in design to this studio display rather than the Pro display, but with more goodies than are currently offered. I mentioned Hartley a moment ago, and he wrote a great piece about the display last week in MacRumors. It's really worth a read, and I'll leave the link to that in the description to this video. Apple has decided the new panel will be a 27-inch display, leaving an obvious distinction between this new display and the 32-inch Pro display. Crucially though, it'll be Apple's first display that will utilise mini LED technology. iPad Pro was the first device that Apple used the mini LED tech in, and since then they've gone to use it in both the 14-inch and this 16-inch MacBook Pro. If the new panel does use mini LED, it will then give the company a chance to position the panel as being ideal for creatives with colour-critical workflows. See, this new technology, this mini LED technology, offers greater clarity, richer, more dense blacks, and a better contrast. That technology alone will also help Apple to explain away why a panel of the same size, that also looks very similar, is pricier than the current studio display. I'd imagine it likely that ProMotion will also come to this panel as another unique feature among Apple's current display lineup. One other question that often pops up when I talk about the studio display is that of being able to add additional displays and work in a multi-display environment. Being at a higher price point should give Apple the option to make all the ports Thunderbolt. Currently, of the 4 ports on my display, only 1 is Thunderbolt, while the other 3 are only downstream USB-C ports suitable for connecting peripherals and external SSDs, that kind of thing. There's really no need to bother changing the chip from the A13 Bionic chip that's already in there, because that's only there really to enable the display to receive firmware and software updates, which means it's more than good enough for that. On the new display, let's just hope that a better, newer and improved camera module makes its way inside. Audio-wise, it can be left alone. There's 6-speaker, 3-mic setup, sounds fine. It already has support for spatial audio, Dolby Atmos, and it's Siri-enabled as well. The other 2 wishes I'd have for this latest panel would be that the fully adjustable stand and anti-reflective glass are both made standard this time. The fact that on my display, the height adjustable stand is an additional $400 option on an already expensive panel is frankly a disgrace. Very, very Apple, but a disgrace. Finally, Apple, please make that cable detachable. Not only does it make it more user-friendly, but it would also make the panel more sustainable too. Remember your environmental pledges. Fingers crossed we get those wishes come true. We know all hands on deck to get the headset to market, so we're not expecting too much in the way of innovation this year. With the Apple Silicon Mac Pro being due, a new feature-packed panel to offer alongside it would seem a marketing dream opportunity, almost too good to miss. In essence, the hard work's already been done with the studio display. It looks the part, slots well into the Apple ecosystem, and importantly, performs well too. So a little tweak here and there and a few simple improvements could be all this latest display would need to breathe some new life into it. No need to reinvent the wheel this time. Just remember to make that power cord removable. Don't forget, if you've made it this far into the video and you've enjoyed it, giving it a like would really help me and the channel out. I'll be back next week with another video, but if you haven't watched my Apple Vision headset video yet with some gorgeous exclusive renders in it, you can catch that one here, or you can take a chance over here to see what YouTube thinks you'd like to watch. That's AI in motion for you folks. I'll catch you next week.